The S68 is here, and I'm going to give you 3 reasons why this is the absolute best performance luxury vehicle in its class. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and this is the 2025 BMW X5M Competition. Now, when I'm talking about performance, I'm talking about a near 50-50 weight distribution. I'm talking about standard all-wheel drive, which is tuned from the M performance line, giving me 617 reasons why this is the absolute best in class, not only because of the 0 to 60 reaching at 3.7 seconds, but because of everything you're getting as a total package. In the front, LED headlights and daytime runnings. These have been reworked coming from the CSL from the M4 that you used to have to pay a premium for. Now you're getting them standard on the 25 models. That's going to integrate into the more box structure kidney grille with the X5M badging. I wish it added the competition underneath here, but it comes standard as competition. A few years back, you used to have to pay about $8,000 to $9,000 for that upgrade, and it would give you 17 extra horsepower. Now it comes standard. The lower is going to be the most aggressive on the X5 because this is all M spec. Everything is opened up to feed that V8 twin turbo engine. Front and rear parking sensors with the 360-degree reverse camera, and the best part is what's housed underneath this hood, because it's simply a gem. 4.4 liter BMW M-powered turbocharged, which is a twin turbo engine, producing 617 horsepower, backed with 553 pound-feet of torque, and that's paired to a 8-speed M Sport Steptronic automatic transmission, which is a ZF automatic transmission. That's going to reach a top speed of up to 177 miles per hour. MPGs, you're not really worrying about it on a vehicle that MSRP is nearly 130 grand, but just for specs, it's 13 to the city, 18 for the highway. It's not going to be something that's economical, which this is track worthy, but yet it's still family oriented, which is the first reason why I would choose this over the competition. But on the con to that, the suspension is going to be the most rigid drive. If you're comparing this against the SVR Jaguar F-Pace, that's going to be a little bit more soft than this, but it's also a little bit more smaller. And when you're thinking feature-wise, you can actually feature that up and have a savings, but this is going to be faster. That's actually going to have a touch better in the dynamics for the weight distribution. 21-inch up front, 295/35, and out back, a 315/30/22. Behind the M red brake calipers are gripping 6 pistons to this disc that's ventilated and slotted, which is ready for full-blown performance. It's going to have an adaptive suspension, and that's really tuned more or less for when you're wanting to drive it into sport, track, or for your daily use. But you're still receiving over 8 inches of clearance whether you pick this or the X6M Competition. The difference though is the weight distribution is going to be better here. You're going to also have some more cargo, which we'll go over later on. Comparing this against the Audi RS Q8, which we have several reviews, you're going to be getting right at the same 0 to 60s. This is less than that detuned Lamborghini engine, more or less. And when I'm thinking about other variants like Mercedes, AMG, you're talking another 10, 20 grand as well to get near the same performance, but not the same weight distribution, because this is actually going to be the best right underneath the Jaguar F-Pace SVR. And going back to the dynamics, 50.8, 49.2, towing over 1,600 pounds, payload nearly 1,000 pounds. You get the roof rails with the gloss black, M-spec side view mirrors with the LED integrated turn signals, as well as the M vent on the side. Taking it into the rear, you're getting a standard LED tail light with the gloss black that's going to surround the lower roof spoiler, integrating more gloss black into the lower with quad exhaust tips blacked out, and the exhaust note, which you're going to hear in just a few, is insane, and that's what it should be. Now, the rides to BMW are typically the most sport driving vehicle, so some people may downgrade to the M60i, and there's not necessarily an issue with that. You're still getting 523 horsepower. It's the same S68 engine, just detuned. Both of them will have the 48-volt mild hybrid assist, but the difference will be the seats, and it's not as rigid as a suspension drive to this, because this is going to be kind of more towards the track than as a daily kind of family sports car that's lifted up into an SUV. Power liftgate going into 33.9 cubic feet of storage, which if you're comparing this against the X6M Competition, that's over 6 cubic feet more. The privacy cover, 12-volt charger, underneath the floor, gets the spare tire, bag holders on both sides, and unfortunately to split fold the rear bench, you have to come into the back. Pull the levers up here. It's going to max cargo to 72.3 cubic feet, which is nearly 13 cubic feet more than the X6M Competition. We need to go inside, start up this twin turbo V8 so you can hear that exhaust note. 20-way power seat adjustment for the front, heated, ventilated massage with the X5M that illuminates. It's going to be more of a sport bolster, extended merino leather, memory for the driver and passenger. The X5M Competition is no joke with luxury and performance, one of the best in class, especially when you're considering price point. It is going to be a driver-focused setup with the carbon fiber inlays, ambient lighting that goes into the M badging with the gloss black, satin aluminum, with the SensaFin for the top of the dash instead of the leather, Bauer & Wilkins upgraded sound system, heads-up display, auto-dimming rear view mirror, LED interior lights with a full panel moonroof, and this also has the Sky Lounge, which all those little dots will lighten up with the ambient lighting. Going into the 14.9 infotainment screen with wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming, Bluetooth audio, iDrive 8.5, put it into reverse with the 360-degree reverse camera, full trajectory for the front and the rear with backup assist. Go here for your 3D view so you can go all around the vehicle, and the nice thing is we have gesture, so you can use your finger to go all around the vehicle as well, or you can just use the iDrive here. Go back into more, we have the car wash view that will show the trajectory for the front so you don't scratch the staggered wheel setup. So now we're going to show you what the backup assist means. When you go forward, we're going to turn the steering wheel a few times just so you can see. We're not going to go necessarily too far, but you can go quite a distance with this feature. Now we're going to put it back into reverse, hit start backup assist, shows 20 feet. It's going to do the steering for you. All you have to do is basically apply the brake so that way you don't wreck. Once you get around 15 feet, you'll hear a little noise that'll indicate that you're getting close. I think it's a really cool feature, especially if you went in a one-way. It'll stop, illuminate with the red, and it'll show you there on the indicator as well. Going into a wireless charging pad, USB 12-volt heated ventilated cup holders, and the key fob for the X5M Competition. And because this is a true M, you get a gear lever, no rocker, because we're not playing around here. This is full-blown performance. You have your M mode select, which when you click onto there, you have road, sport, track. It's going to be soft to touch. It's opening up into a USB port. It's not going to be so wide, but it's a pretty deep storage pocket. Leather wrap steering wheel. It's M spec, multi-function with M1 paddle shift and M2, which when you click onto this, these are basically quick tabs, so you don't have to go down here and click onto your M for the driving mode. You can make this for, I guess, the track or vice versa with actual metal paddle shifts. The gauge cluster is a 12.3 digital reader that can go through an array of information. We have the AR, which is also an upgrade. It can go through different content as well, but I tend to like to see the camera in the front of the vehicle. When you change the driving modes, it will change out the layout of the gauge cluster as well. And the heads-up display will do the same exact thing. Bauer & Wilkins upgraded sound system is going to have the aluminum mesh, soft materials coming into play with the quilted inlays. One touch up and down for all the windows, more carbon fiber with a long storage pocket and a hidden pocket for the driver. Did I forget to mention soft closed doors? The back seat headroom and leg room, Performance yet again, luxury comes back into play, even into the rear storage behind both of the front seats, as well as a USB port directly in front of you. 2 USB ports are going to be on the lower with a 12 volt, a storage tray, dual climate control settings, heated rear seats, gloss black comes into play with more cup holders here and a storage pocket here. And to make it a little bit more cool back here, you got the sunshades, hang up some clothes here, LED interior lights, soft materials with the quilted inlays and the ambient lighting, Bauer & Wilkins upgraded sound system with the aluminum mesh and the carbon fiber, as well as about the same size storage pocket as the front. Sliding into the center, can I fit? Feet space is going to be shared, but this is a wide vehicle. So yes, I can fit leg, butt, shoulder space, not going to have an issue. With 617 reasons, I'll sit in the center at 6'3". The S68 with 617 horsepower, you don't need an introduction. Wow. Dynamics. Holds itself well, and that's because you're right at near 50-50 weight distribution. The rear steering for that just makes it basically a perfect 50-50. There's no way around it. It is truly special. Now we're going to stop and get the same numbers that we just did. Truly a symphony to the ears. And for the exit, you're not going to have a problem driving this thing as a daily or something that you just want to take out on the weekend and have some fun on some twisty roads, because you can do that full stop. You're not going to have any issues at all. Braking on it is amazing. It's 6-piston brake calipers in the front, vented, slotted. This thing is ready for full-blown performance. Twisty roads, you want to do that with this vehicle. That way you can feel the grip in the seat, because it's going to bolster a little bit more performance than an M60i, especially a lot more so than a standard X5. I mean, you're going to have a night and day difference in driving between the different trims. And really all you have to do is add a few features to the vehicle. Otherwise, basically you're getting it fully loaded when you go in competition for the X5. Visibility is great. You have over 8 inches of clearance. There's absolutely no reason to complain there. Comparing it against the X6M Competition though, you will have a lot more blind spots towards the rear because of the coupe design. On a daily use, it's going to be hard to drive this normal. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you want to give it some performance, you're going to clean out the carbon buildup in the engine, so you're not going to have too many issues there. It's going to take me to some pros and cons right off the bat. We're going to start off with some pros. With the performance and the luxury that you're getting, it's by far the best value vehicle in its class. Unless you're considering a smaller size vehicle like the Jaguar F-Pace, then you can get some more savings there, but this is going to be faster than that vehicle. Interior is going to have a lot of space for the front and rear occupants. As you saw, I could fit on that 6'3", my dimensions, anywhere. I'm not necessarily uncomfortable. It's wide enough so you could actually fit in the middle of the back seat. You have more than enough charging ports. You got a total of 5 in the back. Whereas when you get into some of the competition, you can lack in that. Plus storage in the door, as well as in the center cluster, you have tons of it. And up front, you have a wireless charging pad, cooled and heated cup holders. So if you're someone like me, that's gonna work out great for coffee in the morning. And when it gets hot, over 100 degrees here in Tampa, Florida, well, now my water is going to stay nice and cool. Some cons is it's going to be a little bit more of a rigid drive, like I was explaining on the exterior. It is going to be a little bit more torque happy, especially if you drive this a little bit more hard. You'll notice that through stoplight to stoplight. Before we get to more, turn radius with rear axle steering. Look how tight. 2 lanes. Let's rock and roll. It's hard to talk about pros and cons because there's a lot of pros when you start going into the M Performance team. Some other cons though is still having to add features. You drop in towing capabilities, you drop a little bit in payload capabilities. I understand you're not using this for those actual functions. So it is nice that they option it, but you have to have some cons. The seats are going to be a little bit more firm as well compared to some of the competition. Now look at these brakes. This is 6 pistons at its best. So when people were complaining about vehicles going over the speed limit, I hate to say it, they should have like a designated lane for vehicles like this, because stopping and performance going to a high speed, it's going to continuously go faster and faster opposed to a everyday vehicle. The other thing is your stopping distance is literally almost 30% better to 40% better than an average car. And that exhaust note is just intoxicating. The screens are a little low for my liking, but I like that it's out of the way, and all I need to really see is how fast I'm going in the RPM, which I can see that on the gauge cluster, especially when I'm in sport or track mode. I like that it's a standard X-Drive, which is the 4-wheel drive system. And you're also getting the standard rear axle steering, so that way, for me it's a con because you're kind of cheating, but because BMW is so close to a 50-50 weight distribution, I'll just disqualify it because they actually care about the engineering of the vehicle. It's not just about a straight line with BMW. It's about taking those bends on the road and having an experience where it's gripping to the seat and you have that thrill. That's why the X5M Competition is one of the best in class, because it's nearly zero lag, which takes me to the final reason why this is my top choice and pretty much the best in its class. Because when you're talking about the RS Q8, great vehicle, don't get me wrong. I love the performance, but you're gonna have a slight touch of lag. And the way they do their turbo setup and that 48-volt mild hybrid technology, it's very sophisticated, don't get me wrong, but the way the S68 just goes through gears with this ZF 8-speed automatic transmission, look at it. Now, this is where the lag would come into place. We're gonna slow down, I'm gonna change the gears, now I'm gonna put it back into drive, and I'm gonna floor it. Check it out. Check it out. You see? Hardly any lag. That's why I like the BMW a little bit more. It's because Audi is trying to push you into a Lamborghini. And I know this reason because I own a Maserati. And Maserati does the same darn thing with their Ferrari-built engines. You go into the Ferrari, zero lag. I get it, it's a huge savings, but don't give me a vehicle that's that much savings. Give me the X5M Competition, but let me know what you think in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like, and I'd like to thank BMW of Wesley Chapel for giving us this 2025 BMW X5M Competition for our car review.